I'm going to try to see if I can get the bike to idle today. So I'm putting on the exhaust. I have the mufflers lightly zip tied in place there because I'm still waiting on the clamps. And then also I have to figure out how I'm going to mount up the rear there. I really have no idea. I'll look at the diagrams from Kawasaki and see if I can get some hints from there. But I'm going to put the carbs on. And these are the KZ400 boots that I modified to fit here. And just to make sure that we make it as tight a seal as possible, I also got some KZ440, I believe these are, gaskets, just to make sure it seats properly, because I don't think the KZ400 had them, but I do want a little bit extra insurance, being that these are not made for the KZ400. Alright, let's put the Petcock back together. This is how it is right now, as of this moment. So we're just going to assemble it. So we'll start at the bottom with the, I guess you could say, I don't know what that one's called. So this gasket's a little bent. Hope it doesn't affect me that much, but we'll see. Goes in this way. And the bottom cap just screws right in. Yeah. It's just hand tight for now. I'll tighten it all up in a little bit. Let's do the, what do you call it? The seal here. Just checking the diagram. Doesn't say if which side is the right side, but I assume, where's the larger one? I assume it goes like that, like the flat part down. And then the selector, it's probably a more specific name for it. The selector, the wave spring, then the cover here. And I need to find the screws to put that all together. Should be these two. I think the rest are just 10mm screws. Let's see here. Oh, I need to do that all over again. Okay, so there. Burp. Where'd I put them? Oh, there. And then there's a way to test whether or not this is installed properly. And do that with compressed air. Basically making sure that there are no leaks in the Petcock. And I show you how to do that. No, it was right the first time. That's right. That's not right. Something's wrong here. Let's see. Wave spring's probably in the wrong position or something. Or what? It's not a wave spring, right? It's like a something else, like a spring washer, I think. I think that's what it's called, spring washer. Let's go with that. Let's see, how are you installed? That goes there, that goes there. There's gotta be a way for this to be that it doesn't. This seems kind of correct. Let's see. Basically, I'm going to keep fooling around with this until the face plate, which is what I'm going to call it, is flush to the Petcock body. I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Reserve off, on. So what I mean is the faceplate, which is this little guy that says reserve off on, is flush with the body, with the Petcock body. That most likely means that it's correct. So now what I'm going to do is test to see if what do I do with this? That's fuel. That's where fuel goes out. See if I can take this off. Man, I never have my tools run when I need them. Ugh. Just pry it off. Just trying to get this nipple off. Alright. I have to be a loser and use vice grips for it. I mean, this thing's on there. There we go. Whoa. Apparently my vice grips are not strong enough to get this thing off. Whatever. I've destroyed it. I'm just going to keep destroying it until it comes off. There. Finally. Alright, drop everything. Why not? Let's see, so I'm going to spray some compressed air in this tube right here. And that's essentially, this tube goes into the tank. And if it's in the off position, I should not get air coming out of here, which goes to the carbs. If I have it in the on position, you know, if I put air in there, it'll have air coming out of here. If I put it in the reserve position, I believe I can just spray, or I can put air just in these chambers and it'll have air coming out of there. What we're looking for here is to not have any air coming out of the bottom of here and not have any air basically leaking out of the front. So, you know, if air gets out, fuel is definitely going to get out. So let me find my, where is my air attachment? Oh, there it is. And I'm missing, I have to swap inlets or whatever, because I'm too cheap to get more of them. So I just swap. Come on, you fucker. There we go. Okay. Tube. Oh. What's going on here? Oh, my friggin' compressor isn't plugged in. Hang on. So we have an issue, and this bike is nickel and diming me to death. I noticed, obviously, something's missing here. There's a barb missing. Didn't notice this until I was testing it, and you know, air was coming out of there. So there is an issue. This guy basically is going to leak out of here because there's no barb. Now I do have some brass, and I could probably machine a new fitting to go in there, and it might leak, and you know, I don't have precision tools. So to be honest with you, I'm just gonna replace it. Like, a new replaced Petcock for this on eBay is like $10, so I'm just gonna go get a new one, and I'll throw this up on eBay because I'm sure that somebody wants a good condition Petcock like this. I saw a few on there for like 30-40 bucks, but they weren't missing barbs like this one is, so I might put up for like $20 or something and see. But nickel and diamond me this friggin' bike, it adds up. So I'm still gonna try and start the bike today. I'll just probably funnel in some gas into the carb float bowls, and see if that's enough to start it. Or I could just use starting fluid. It's an option 2, just to see if it'll, you know, start. So I think what I might do is I'll probably just go ahead and buy some starter fluid and some new spark plugs and see if I can't get it to bark. But wait, you know, no, screw that. I'm gonna put some fuel in the carb, in the floats, because I want to make sure that they're not leaking, and also that my my little plastic welded fuel fitting for the carbs actually works. So I need to I tested it with water and it worked, but you know, I want to make sure it works with fuel and all that. So BRB, I'm gonna run AutoZone. Alright, so got some oil in there, some 10W40. I need to put about a liter more of oil in there, but it's just that's what 10W40 I had lying around. Carbs are on, fuel hose is kind of on there. I'm gonna see if this works, if I can like hook up like a bladder to it and actually put some fuel into the carbs. But right now what I have is just some starting fluid, and I just want to see if it, you know, starts, makes noise, whatever. Put some new plugs in there, B80S. Let's see if it starts. So I'm gonna spray about 3 seconds worth of starting fluid in there. Obviously open up the butterflies all the way so that it actually gets into the engine, and do 1 per carb. Okay, let's see if it starts. that's really all that starter fluid's for, is to see it, you know, if it actually gets going. After that, it needs actual gas. But, dude, bike runs. That's a positive. So let me see if there's a way that I can actually hook some gas up into this fuel line and see if we can actually get this to run, so I can sync it and, you know, see what's going on. So I'm actually going to wait until I get the Petcock. Trying to figure out a method to like make a bleeder bag to feed gas into the carbs. I think I'm just going to wait on that. I think I'll wait for the Petcock. There's other stuff I can do to you know, to occupy my time while I'm waiting for it. Like I could start doing body work on the tank. I could start cleaning up this wiring, because now I know that it fires, you know, and it runs. So I'm pretty confident that the wiring is good. Or maybe I should wait. I should wait, because I want to put the multimeter on the battery and make sure that the charging system is working on this. And, you know, I don't want to tidy up all the wires until I know that that's working correctly. So I think I'm just going to wait. But the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to put this grip on the left-hand side. And there's a way to do it that's pretty easy, and it's just use WD-40. Just spray it in the inside of this, because what WD-40 does is it lubricates, but then it becomes really sticky. So it's really awesome for putting on grips, because it slides right on. And then, you know, give it an hour or so and it'll be tight on there. So WD-40, way to go. So what's next? The exhaust clamps I got are too big, so I got to order new exhaust clamps. I guess I can start doing tank stuff. Start actually doing body work on the tank, like getting rid of those dents and stuff. So I think I'll do that. But for now, I'm in a happy place because the bike starts. Yeah, I'm happy. So being that I'm waiting on parts again, I suppose it's time to waste some more time and fix all the dents on this tank. Now, previously, I circled all the dents I could find. This I'm not sure is a dent or not, but like that's a dent. They're all like pretty tiny, except for this grouping right here is going to be pretty tough because all of this is pretty dented in with some larger dents there. But what is a little alarming is this this ridge on the tank. I need to make sure that that's preserved. On this side, you can see it, well, it does kind of disappear into the tank there, so I don't think it'll be that hard to get right. But, you know, just a little dent there, little dent there, little one there, little grouping right here at the neck of the tank, and then this little bit right here. So what I'm going to use for this is just some off-the-shelf stage 3 Bondo. Don't need to go crazy with it. It shouldn't be I really shouldn't need a whole lot for this repair. If I was going to be doing something like a frame repair, I'd use like the fiberglass reinforced stuff. It's a little stronger. But for this, it should be okay. So let's get started. Sure, press it in. So I got some 220 grit and a flexible sanding block, and I'm just going to start knocking this down a little bit. So I want to give my hands a break for a second. I actually went up to 60 grit because 250 wasn't doing anything for a few reasons. One, it's actually hot out today, so this stuff hardened on me way quicker than it normally does, because it's usually like 55 here. So there's like a green time where it's still pretty easy to knock a lot of Bondo off, and I missed that opportunity. I'm too zoomed in here. Hang on. Oh wait, no, I'm not. Okay, cool. So this is where I'm at. I'm uncovering a few other little dents just from sanding, and that's to be expected. There's another one there and there, some low spots. But really at this point, all I'm trying to do is all the edges, right here where the Bondo meets the metal, I'm trying to feather that out as best I can. Meaning, I'll give you an example. This edge down here, you can see that there's a big like ledge there. That's going to show up in paint or primer, obviously. If you can run your finger over it and feel an edge, then it's definitely going to show up in the paint. On the other hand, you look at something like over here, where it's blended really well. It's, you know, it's like someone took a paintbrush and just kind of gently wiped it over it. That's what you want. That's the sort of look that you want. Now, ideally, I want to be able to do this with 60, but you know, usually I'll just get it knocked down as much as I can with 60 and then worry about the real minute feathering like this with a finer grit like a 150 or a 200. But there's going to be a little bit more application needed here, specifically there, and there, just because, you know, this is leveled out with the plane of the tank, and it's still dipped in there, so I just didn't put enough Bondo on there because that was a pretty large dent to fill, or a series of dents. But this one's looking good. I might need to put a little bit more on there. This side's looking good. I don't think I'll need to touch that up at all. Maybe a little bit there, and then those two dents there that I found, and that one's fine now too. So I just wanted to take a break because sanding is really time consuming and boring and painful, so I gotta get back to work. So this is where I'm going to stop today. Pretty much done. You know, all the dents are smooth now. I can run my hands over it and I don't feel any dents anywhere anymore. So that's good. I just had to put another layer of fiberglass or Bondo here and here. I actually do need to do another little bit of body filler right there. Just because, you know, if you could see it, there's a little bit of a dent there still, so just a tiny smidge there and we should be okay. What's left is to do the whole tank with like 200 grit, just to take out, like, if you notice, the 60 leaves some pretty nasty scars in the Bondo and around the tank. So the way to get those off is with a finer grit sandpaper. So like go from a 60 to like a 150 to a 250 to like a 400 to a 600, and then it should be pretty smooth from there. And then you throw some primer on there and see if there's any odd spots. I'm gonna do a little bit of spot putty, specifically over here where there's these little pinholes left. Just gonna throw a little spot putty on there, and that should take care of that. But the hard work is done. It's nice and feels good. I don't feel any dents. I don't feel any ridges anywhere. There's a few, maybe right there. I'll just get that feathered down, but that's the majority of the work. And I think that's a good place to stop for today.